Is it really worth it to spend $500+ on a monitor, or should you just stick with the typical budget monitors we recommend?
Today we're going to be taking a look at the cheapest OLED gaming monitor you can buy to determine whether or not it's worth spending the $500 on this really beautiful display. Should you save some money with some other budget options? We're going to test it and find out after word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by our friends at Intel and Lenovo to take a look at their new line of Aura laptops. More specifically, we have the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition. These laptops are powered by Intel Core Ultra CPUs with Intel Arc graphics, perfect for on-the-go performance and including AI acceleration with dedicated NPUs with 40 TOPS of compute power, making your AI tasks run seamlessly. It also rocks a beautiful 2880 by 1800 IPS display at 120 Hz, packed inside a thin and light package with all-day battery life. With Intel Core Ultra processors, you can easily accelerate your AI experience in productivity, content creation, gaming, and entertainment apps, all with incredible performance and less drain on your battery. Learn more by checking the link down below to take a look at the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition that I have in today's video. Big shout out again to Intel and Lenovo for sponsoring today's video. Now let's dive back into the video, shall we?
So big shout out to KTC for making this video possible. They sent over the G2 7P6 monitor, which is an OLED display, high refresh rate, very low millisecond response time, and obviously the big point of this is the fact that it's an OLED display, which OLED is really expensive. We're talking double to triple the price of your standard TN, VA, IPS panels, which we are going to be comparing to.
This is a very interesting video for us because normally we focus on budget monitors. We did a video very recently where we told you guys $150 or less 1440p high refresh rate monitors you should buy over spending a ton of money on a monitor. But we actually got a lot of comments of people saying, I'm watching this, but I'm going to spend $500 on an OLED monitor because it's just that game changing. And I personally bought an OLED monitor. You could watch some of our YouTube shorts about that. And I really fell in love with the technology and really do think for some people it is worth it. But today with this monitor that KTC sent over, 1440p, 240 Hz OLED, 0.3 milliseconds response time. It's a really awesome display, and coming in at the cheapest price point compared to all other OLED monitors on the market, we gotta see, is it worth spending the money for this, or do you want some of our other contenders?
So first up, we have our super budget option. This is the Arzopa 180Hz 1440p gaming monitor, which comes in around $130, which, let's be honest, that is really cheap for a 1440p monitor, but this wasn't our roundup. We did like it quite a bit. We are gonna have a more middle of the line monitor as well we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, with this being IPS, this will also be a good comparison as well between display types, OLED versus IPS. Can a lot of people see the difference? We're gonna do our testing here with the people in this room, but also we'll get some people at PCBros, our PC selling business, to come in and see what they think in a blind test later in this video. But again, 130 bucks, pretty good value here. What we also have right here is what we picked up during Black Friday from Newegg. This right here is an Acer Nitro KG1, and coming in $199, it comes with 1440p, 240 Hz. It is a VA panel, so once again, a different panel type, but you get 240 Hz, which is what a lot of gamers love, especially this guy behind the camera. He can get as much Hertz as he wants and he's never happy. He wants more all the time. But this thing right here is a good option for those who really don't care about spending, again, $500. You spend $199 on this thing, you get all the features that most gamers want, and it's gonna look really awesome, but will it look as good as our OLED monitor, or is it worth spending the money for the OLED monitor? That's what we're here to find out. So we're gonna go ahead and do, actually I don't know what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is revisit that monitor we took a look at in our monitor roundup video, the Arzopa monitor. Then we're gonna move up to this Acer monitor, see what it looks like, see if we notice a difference there. Then we're gonna jump to the KTC OLED monitor, and then once we make our impressions and determine, hey, that monitor looks really sick, we're actually gonna do a blind test with the members of the PCBros and ToastyBros staff to see what they think, and they can determine whether or not they think in a blind test the OLED monitor is worth the 500 bucks.
All right, so right now we're just in the Overwatch practice range on the Arzopa. So IPS display, we're getting 300 plus FPS, very low response times as well. And yeah, I mean, it looks really good. You know, you get a little bit of everything in the test range. You get some nice lighting, but you also get some pretty dark areas, which that's really where we should see the OLED kind of excel, is the colors, especially like the shadows and anything that involves the color black, essentially, just because normal panels cannot display those colors properly.
And it's important to mention, this is probably a good time to mention this, that this entire video is gonna be a lot of our opinions. It's not gonna be a lot of objective testing in terms of like testing all the claims the companies are making. It's more or less, we're gonna show you what we see and give our opinion on it. And yeah, there's a lot of creators out there who do full in-depth reviews of the monitors we feature in this video, but but this one is more of a, hey, this is what we think about it, and this is how we would rank it just based on our experience gaming on it. I have a weird, I don't know if it's an advantage or a curse, the fact that I've been dailying an OLED monitor at home for the past month or two, so I kind of know what I'm getting into once I see the OLED difference and actually feel the difference, because OLEDs not only look great, the response time is as fast as any panel on the market, so you will feel a much smoother, high refresh rate experience, because this right here feels smooth, but I remember playing esports titles on mine at home, it definitely is a difference. So I'm excited to see in these like dark areas what the difference looks like, but this is a good refresher on a monitor we've already looked at, getting enough FPS to fully saturate this display. Let's go and move on to the new 240Hz monitor, which at $199, I'm excited to see how good this actually is, because I don't think I've ever seen a 1440p 240Hz that cheap, and it's still in stock at the time of recording this video as well for $199. So let's go ahead and switch to that Acer monitor.
All right, guys, so this is pretty cool. Hopefully, and you guys can let us know down below. Hopefully we're not crazy, but right now we're doing duplicate display. I'm gonna show you guys. We are running 1440p 240Hz, and yes, we verified in Windows. It also says 240Hz, so I'm assuming this is running at 240. This is probably still 180. And I feel like I think you can see it. When I look back and forth, I don't know if I can. It's tough. I mean, I want to say that this looks better, but I don't know.
The left side's so, like, this is the first time I've actually seen like a VA and IPS like side by side. The IPS does have much better colors.
The IPS that's more vibrant, this one feels almost just ever so slightly a little more washed out. Now, most of you aren't going to be doing this. Most of you aren't going to have two different panels side by side running the same game. So in all honesty, I think you'd be really happy with either one of these.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't notice a major difference. Like, this is definitely running at 240Hz. We'll verify here. Maybe the jump from 180 to 240 is just not that big. And I guess in terms of value, I think this monitor looks better. So I'd probably go with this one, even over this one, because they're saving money in terms of value. So if we're talking like budget options, I think Arzopa's better.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if it was me for at home, I'd probably go Acer just because of the name brand. I would assume it's gonna last longer, and I would see the 0.5 millisecond and be like, oh, that's half of a millisecond rather than a full millisecond. So it's tough. I mean, to be fair, we didn't buy fancy like $500 Samsung Odyssey monitors that are 240Hz IPS displays. We just got a decent.
You know, in terms of value for money, if we're trying to make that argument, the Arzopa is definitely the value for money here, but the Acer, it's still a good monitor at $199. It's kind of crazy to get those specs for $199. So now we got to introduce the big daddy, the KTC OLED monitor. I'm curious, if we get this set up properly, we can see all three of them at once. So I'm really excited to see what that difference looks like.
We can do the same thing too, where if we feel like we're not seeing a difference, we'll disconnect the other ones just for sanity check. All right, so right now we're actually just running two panels. For some reason, when we try to do all three, it just keeps defaulting this to 60 Hertz, and we cannot have our $500 monitor running at 60 Hertz. On first impressions, I mean, you can just see our VA panel here is much less vibrant and colorful than the OLED, especially in like darker situations. Like here, we have some shadows and whatnot. Now, obviously, once we get to like the somewhat brighter areas, you know, this just almost looks washed out comparatively. So because of that, we are gonna try our IPS display out as well, just color-wise. But as far as like movement and everything goes, I really don't know. I mean, they're both 240 Hertz, 0.3 versus 0.5. You know, and like Matt was saying, we're not in like a super competitive scene, but even then, it feels like they're both instantaneous to me. See how you feel about it?
Oh yeah, the color difference is like night and day. They feel, yeah, pretty much the same. I'll be honest. We're at that point now though at 240 Hertz to where like just us going like this, I doubt we can really notice any sort of difference without us like actually gaming or being a competitive gamer that would really notice the difference. Yeah, no, this looks so much prettier to look at than this VA, but again, this is a VA. This is like worst case scenario. So I'd love to see how it looks against an IPS. And for someone who's playing a lot of single player games, I think that's where this monitor definitely shines in being able to get really beautiful colors. Because again, washed out this versus that, definitely a big difference. But yeah, let's definitely look at the IPS one.
We can just
swap.
Probably won't be able to do it that easily, but we'll see.
Okay, once again, $130 monitor versus a $500 monitor. The brightness is just so much better on this monitor. And the IPS, again, it looks good. I think it does look a decent amount better versus the VA. And I think in terms of our rankings right here was definitely this one, maybe the Acer. These two are kind of tied depending on what you're looking for, but the visual quality on this is pretty solid. But man, this is probably a good scene to look at right here. Just the colors and everything. It's just more vibrant. And we were saying this is only on what, 90% brightness?
Yeah,
that's not even full brightness.
I mean, let's just see what it does. I mean, might as well.
No, you're definitely getting what you pay for in terms of brightness. But yeah, no, I mean, the OLED definitely is more vibrant overall. It has, I guess you'd call it like more saturation. You can just see a little bit more color. I'd almost describe it as color separation. All right, guys, so right now we're actually doing, this is an OLED test. This is LG's OLED test. So this is gonna be specifically designed to show a lot of really dark colors and obviously true black. But yeah, we got our, so we have the IPS here. We have the VA panel here and then OLED there. Which I will say, it's interesting seeing IPS is like the worst at displaying darks, it seems like.
Yeah, no, it's definitely struggling because like the VA seems to do better at blacks because that's what I think with VAs, it's kind of the best of both worlds. It tries to blend the both, but it can have some like glaring issues there. But looking at it, you could definitely tell the sharpness and brightness of the OLED in terms of like the dark areas. And I bet it's pretty easy to see on camera with the blacks.
It's really easy to, IPS is just like, wow, that's like way different looking. Maybe.
That is true. Yeah, we are talking about a cheap monitor here. You could spend upwards of like $200-300 on like an IPS display and it can get closer. But then at that point, we're looking at these OLEDs becoming cheaper and cheaper. And then we haven't even mentioned during Black Friday, you could get OLEDs for like $400. So now we're getting to that point where, again, it's still expensive, but you're starting to get to the point where it is more affordable and it might be worth the jump if you have a good enough PC for it.
All right, so now we're doing our nature documentary. It's so soothing. I feel like I see less of a difference here.
This test doesn't show as major of a difference, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It definitely seems like OLED just across the board is always more vibrant, always better at showing colors. And then the IPS and the VA, they're like going back and forth.
Yeah.
On like which one looks better.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see. They are closer. For some people, they are closer. And when we're talking like budget gamers, the price tag difference is really what's gonna sway you one way or another. But these are looking pretty good.
All right, Tyler. So we have three 1440p monitors here. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I just wanna know, just based on this video, how would you rank them in order of 1 to 3, and then how much you think each one is worth? And feel free to
this
say,
is actually
like,
more tough than I.
And feel free to tell us the differences you think you see.
Well, I noticed this one. I feel like this one is darker in the darker areas, but it doesn't look as good though. The darks aren't as dark on this one to me, and I'm not just thinking that because of the OLED, but visually, like just looking at it in this scene right now, this is the brightest.
And then now, last question. What do you think the price of each monitor is?
150-ish, 200. If this is what I think it is, then this one is gonna be in the 500 area. Oh, I'm totally off, ain't I?
No. Hold on, guys.
This is crazy.
Wow. It's a different kind of
That
test.
is totally different. So this one is now, I think this is the OLED. That's an OLED, so that would be the $500 OLED. So
Right.
this would be the middle now,
And then
that
one's the
would
worst.
still be the
Okay.
worst. That shows how everybody's eye is different.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see that, especially at first. That first test, that kind of blows me away that this is actually the cheapest, because this one looked more on par with being the better, besides the OLED. But once that last test came up, that made all the difference.
That's the best one.
Okay, number one.
And then this one.
Okay.
'Cause this one's not as vibrant as all the others.
So you're saying 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the OLED display.
So did I win it?
You win it, it's free. $500. This is actually our budget option. That's an IPS display, it's 130. That was actually $200. Different panel types for all three of these. All right, you get to take a free OLED monitor and you get Jonah's RTX 4080.
Beautiful.
This one's the best. So that's number one.
Okay.
That's number 2. That's number 3. That's not OLED, is it? Oh, whoa, look at that. The colors are actually like way bright. Whoa, man. I'm thinking that's number 1 now. At least on the darks, it looks way better, but now with the brights, I'm not too sure. 500, 300, 150 right now, but that's so wrong because you all wouldn't have put it in that order. Oh my God. Okay, it was this one all along.
What do you mean by this one?
That's the good one, the
Okay.
expensive one. But these two look like trash now. Wait, no, that one's better for sure. So this one's 500, 600, somewhere around there. This one's like 2 or 3. That one's like maybe 150 for sure. OLED's the way to go, man.
OLED's the way to go. All right, guys, so we just got done giving our own personal input and also having PCBros very blindly come in here and give their input. And it was interesting to see that in certain situations, it is a little bit difficult to tell that the OLED is as expensive it is, but then there's other situations where it's like night and day difference.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that test, to get the opinions. Once you run like tests that really show the black levels, it really stands out that this is the OLED monitor. Now, this is probably an important time to mention that there are some issues with OLEDs that you have to be aware of. Burn-in is the obvious one. one. If you leave something up on a display for a long period of time without the screen refreshing, sometimes it can burn into the display and be permanently ruined that way. But there are a lot of remedies that these companies put into these monitors to allow them to last longer and not deal with burn-in. And sometimes they offer their own burn-in warranties to where if something does happen within a certain time frame, you can get a return or replacement on that display. But realistically, if you're a big baller, you got $500, OLED technology is really cool and does take your PC gaming experience to the next level. If you've upgraded your hardware high enough and you really want to change the game, OLED's really cool. So thanks again to KTC for sending this monitor, but let us know in the comments down below. Are you somebody who's a big baller considering picking up an OLED gaming monitor, or do you prefer the budget options? And if you don't buy any of these monitors from today's video, links in the description down below will be affiliate links and they will help us out.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
So if you guys didn't know, PCBros is right behind us, and right now we have a surplus of monitors. We, no joke, probably have 100 monitors in stock. They're pretty cool. Some of them are very high-end, some of them are really cheap.
PCBros.tech, we sell awesome gaming PCs to go with those monitors as well. And if you use code ToastyBros on checkout, you'll save 3% of your next purchase, or you can cash in on our holiday sales for the month of December. See you guys later. Goodbye.